Stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Councillor Olson. Bridge. Bender. Stenberg. McDonald. Joyle. Finsland. Herrick. McKenzie. Brown. And Kadat.
I'd like to, before we get to consent agenda, have Assistant Public Works Director speak a little bit about the recovery from the flood and take any questions from the council and public, and I'll chirp in myself. Todd?
Yeah, you never mentioned questions.
Uh-oh.
First, I want to take this opportunity to thank our city crews for their tireless effort in responding to the flooding in Superior.
By people in the business of emergency management is that the water is gone, so you think everything is okay. And that 6 months later, the son or daughter come to the mother's home, father's home, and they go to the basement to see white mold and black mold. So what we'd like to do is visit with all of the people that have been affected to walk through their premises and show them that here's what you need to think about, this one over here you need to do something about. And remember that mold will be in the presence of your home if it isn't properly addressed. We also met, Andy Leshak and I met with Bethany Owens, the president of Water, Light, and Power, last Friday to get an assessment on the numbers of homes and businesses that they have been to and how many appliances, meaning water heaters, furnaces, and so forth, have been red tagged. As of last Friday, 69 had been red tagged. And what that means is, in their belief, it's non-functional and probably it cannot be used until somebody that's expert in the electrical and components examine it and give it a clear bill of health. So that's been of concern to some residents. We're told that the average water heater, furnace, and the normal things you find in a basement, washer and dryer, the bill could be anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 depending on what it is and how large it is and what it was. So the other thing that I have found in my discussions with residents, I haven't found, first of all, we found that about half the people that we talk to do have insurance. And of all of those folks that have insurance, I've never spoken to anybody that has more than a $10,000 policy. And most have 5. And I understand, I believe I understand the reason for that is, and I have a 10,000 myself, if you go above that benchmark, the premiums start getting pretty hefty for that larger coverage. I don't know that to be true, but that's kind of what I've been led to believe. So, you know, as we see it in a disaster or an event, whether it's a death or an issue like this, the first response is of shock. The second may be of wow, crying. The third is maybe a little bewilderment. The fourth is I got to get at this. And as time goes on, it turns into disappointment and sometimes anger. So we need to get at what we can get at as soon as we can to address the people of the community with everything we have to offer and be there for them. And one of the ways is hopefully garnering donations from the public, the businesses, and individuals, no matter how little it is, to be funneled to a fund where they can be distributed to at least assist these people with some meaningful measure and show that the community and the county is behind them. We will be offering updates consistently. We did take out full-page ads in the Telegram to notify people of what they should know, what they need to know, the agencies, nonprofits, websites that they can go to seek assistance, and that we will, and we are and have been and will continue to visit their properties to give them as much assistance and feedback as we can as we all work through this. Are there any questions at this point? Councilor Brown?
I was out of town this weekend to a family gathering down in Eau Claire, but on Friday I had tried calling that number to report, damage, and it wasn't working. And I'm just wondering if you could repeat that number and if it is working now for folks to call in to report damage to their houses.
I don't remember the number, but Todd, do you have it?
Yeah, I believe it's the ESD phone number, which is 715-394-0392.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
And
Counselor.
I know they had some phone issues where nothing was working, where it was boy, this is a good time for this to happen. So, but it should be working now.
Vice President McKenzie?
Yeah, Mayor, when you talked about the $10,000 rider on the insurance, I'm not sure if I'm right about this, but I think those are typically one-time deals. I don't think that that's something that's going to cover you, if you have a catastrophic flood or something, or a tornado every month, they don't pay off on that. So it's really a one-time deal, and then you're all done with that.
Thank you.
One thing about that, it'd be important to note, is that it's not flood insurance. So if you call it a flood, you're not covered. It's sewer backup.
That's correct. Thank you very much. President Herrick.
Yeah, I just want to also thank the community for all those who helped with other neighbors, their friends, their family, help clean up their disasters. There was even strangers helping other people. It was great to see. So the community does come together when something happens. So again, thank you to all those volunteers.
Vice President McKenzie.
Yeah, just one other question. I was going to ask it the last one, but of Todd, you talked about free landfill drop-offs for debris. Is there, maybe I missed this, but is there any curbside pickup by the city that they would pick up stuff and then bring it out and no charge?
Yeah, we're going to continue that kind of as needed. We'll see how we were picking up last week, yesterday, and today. We should have finished up our milling program. Been pretty close today, so we're gonna put basically everybody we have on it Thursday and Friday. Try to get everybody that's called in picked up before the weekend. But there's probably going to be some that we don't get, so we'll be back at it Monday, Tuesday if necessary, Wednesday, maybe Monday, Wednesday. It depends on what we get for calls. Okay. But we plan on keeping that up also.
But they can call and somebody would come and pick it up?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Councilor Olson.
I'm looking at the agenda here, and a little further on in this meeting, Mr. Bender has a resolution talking about the City Council supporting the National Night Out. And Denise, I want to thank you for your efforts that you're doing, and this may be a good one night, August 7th, that everybody in their respective districts support this and go back to your community that you represent, and it might be a great place to start.
Thank you. Are there any members of the audience that wish to speak at this moment regarding the flood disaster? If not, okay.
If you want to hear, just briefly.
If you'd like to step up and do it now, we won't have to take your entire evening then.
Would you turn the microphone on?
My name is Dane Jusela. My wife and I decided to buy our house at 531 North 22nd Street in Superior. It's right by the UW steam plant. I want to say thanks right away for some of the city council members and the mayor for getting back to me on the emails that I sent. I refer to myself from now on as the friendly pest. Just in a sincere hope that this doesn't get forgotten, that we can implement the fixes that we need to implement going in the future. I understand this was record rainfalls, but even so, this is a city matter when we had no floodwater in my house. That I had 33 inches of sewer back up, and I had nothing. I had no idea how to battle this. I had 3 pumps going, and my wife we're all battling it, and we couldn't do it. And I don't want to take too much of your time, but I just want to say that, you know, I'm a member of the Air National Guard. I work at Essentia Health. I'm by no means perfect, but try to do the best I can, you know, and live the best of my ability. And there's a lot of assistance out there for, you know, if, you know, whether it be low income, whether it be this or that. And I'm just asking the city to step up. I'm asking, I have three specific things, if you could write down here at the end, just ideas. But my house alone, I had estimated right now is at $36,000 in damages. And you are correct about the insurance. That's a one-time thing. I'm blessed that I did have sewer backup, but it's by no means going to cover the $36,000. I guess I'll just give you my the 1, 2, 3, I guess, in this order. It's my understanding that South Superior and Billings Park and East Superior have already gotten floodwater basins, and it helped dramatically in this. I'm asking specifically, you know, bullet point. This is something that's practical. If we can move this to a priority issue in the city, to say, you know what, we know this is a priority issue. When you look down the street and every single house has piles of drywall and everything that you own in your basement on the curb, and people are coming and picking through your trash. So my number one bullet point, if you could write down, is floodwater basin for our area, if that's possible, right by the UW Superior area. I know that we got hit especially hard as every house on the block. You know, I live right by the steam plant by UW Superior. The second thing, I've been looking into the check valve program, the backwater program. What I'm asking is if we can, I don't know if it's possible to expedite this program and move it up again in the priorities. It sounds like, you know, a fair program, but there's a lot of red tape. You have to fill out information to get to an application, and then after the application, you have to get three estimates, and it's a long red tape. And you know, if that could be expedited, that's something really simple that would have stopped this in my house. And the third thing, it sounds like you're already talking about, and I thank you for that. I by no means want to come across as angry or a jerk or whatever, but it's really hard when I'm 29 years old. I have student debt, you know, up to, you know, my wife and I, you know, pushing, you know, $16,000. We've been paying on it for how many years now? The loans aren't going to help us. I don't want any more loans. We're strapped with the 2% loans, and I understand that's fair, and that's great for people who can do that, but you know, it's just not an option for us. So the third thing is any sort of assistance that you guys are already talking about. And I thank you for that you're already talking about it. I personally would love to have anybody, you know, and there has been, you know, I have emailed, I think, each one of you, and there's been some responses back, and I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me that you'll send me email back, and from the mayor too. But I personally will answer any questions. You can come to my house. You can look exactly where the water came up. It came through my toilet. I had a rag shoved in my toilet with dumbbells to try to hold the sewer from coming in my toilet. And that's not to mention my floor drain in my bathtub. So it is really personal for us. And I was hoping more of the community would show up. I was hoping that, you know, that there'd be a voice. And like I said in the beginning, I just don't want this to be forgotten or glossed over. I really think that even with the record rainfalls, it should be a priority. So.
Thank you very much. I was hoping to visit with you, and I will.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. President Herrick.
Yeah, Dane, I just want to thank you for coming. I know we spoke on the phone and so on and so forth. And like I mentioned before, you know, this was something that we can't forget. And so thanks for coming tonight.
If there's no further comment, I'd like to read a little bit of a proclamation, and Councilor Bender is going to represent the city this Saturday at the Tri-County Corridor Day. It's a proclamation, whereas in 1984, the Burlington Northern Railroad held a public informational meeting and it's announced its intent to sell a 62-mile stretch of railway from Superior to Ashland. The enthusiasm of individuals never ceased to achieve their goal, completing the multi-purpose recreational trail. Today, bicyclists, hikers, equestrians share the trail with all-terrain vehicles from Solon through the fall, while snowmobiles dominate the winter. We celebrate 25 years of this achievement, the vision, the dedication, perseverance, and volunteer work of the task force, and complete in this northern community, creating the first 3-county multi-purpose trail in the state of Wisconsin. So Saturday, July 7th, will be Tri-County Corridor Day, and urge all citizens of Superior and Douglas County to visit and enjoy this beautiful trail. Councilor Bender, I appreciate your offer to represent the city at that function.
Well, no, not Sultan Springs, Iron River, and thank you, and also thanks to Ronnie for preparing that proclamation. As I mentioned, it was my cousin Jim Bender, who you've known for years, and he was the one. He called me and he said, "Well, what can I do about this?" And I said, "Well, you can contact the mayor and see if he's available, because I believe the mayor of Ashland has accepted to be able to be there." And I think it's a good way to recognize this, and of course, this is something that's used by lots and lots of people, and he told me to get there by noon for lunch, so I will take him up on that.
Thank you again. City Clerk?
Item number 4 is approval of the minutes from the June 12th, 2012 regular council meeting.
Heard the motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 6 is the consent agenda.
Second.
Heard the motion and second. Discussion?
I would like to pull 622-1. That's it.
Okay. All in favor of the motion of approval minus 6.21 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Vice President McKenzie, I'm sorry.
How soon we forget. I just wanted to say about this, has to do with the radios for the fire department, and everybody knows we're going through some really tough economic times. This flooding hasn't helped out much at all, and that's why I would ask that we look at how we rate these RFPs in the future. For this particular item, because of one particular feature of a radio, it was a want. It wasn't really a need. But what it did, it limited this RFP to one product, and it limited it to one vendor. That doesn't usually work too good, because then you end up taking the high bidder, and in this case, it was to the tune of $26,000 for this particular feature. And I've heard some testimony say that this is a feature that may not even be used at some point. It may even be a nuisance, but that's to be proven at some point. And I think there's also been talk that hey, this is grant money, and the city only has to pay so much back because of the grant money. But I still look at it, and the last time I looked at it, it was taxpayers' money. So we really need to look at how these RFPs are written, so that it's a fair bid, so that we get so that we can make a choice. And I voted against this in the committee level, and I'll be voting against this again tonight. I may be the lone wolf again, but the way this was done, I can't vote for this.
I ask the pleasure.
We need a motion first.
Right. Councilor Olson.
I'd like to agree with Mr. McKenzie. When we put out a request for proposal, the request should be something that should go out for competitive bid. There is a state law in fair bidding process, and if we are limiting this to a single vendor by product, I think we're falling short of the goal of putting out a request for proposal, because it's not necessarily a request for proposal at that time. So And with everything else that has gone on here in the last couple of weeks, I'm in the process of coming up with a resolution for us to encourage not only our city but our county to buy locally. We've got a lot of people in dire need, dire straits. We've got a gentleman here with a flooded home, and he's looking to the city for assistance. And I like your approach, the way you did this. In the city and in the county, we've got a lot of devastation, and I think when we all come together, I believe that if we all stick together, and if we possibly can look at some of these things and encourage to buy locally, we have a resolution on file that states that we want to try and buy American. In my industry, we have a project labor agreement in this city that would encourage us to hire local people in the construction, whether it's our public works projects that we give out to private bidders, private companies. So we're doing this already, and I would certainly like it to spill over into the purchasing part. Thank you.
Councilor Stenberg.
Chief Briggs said you and I had spoken about this after the bids were originally let. Is there anything you want to add?
Well, when the RFP was written, it was written with the features that we wanted for this radio. When the bids came in, one of the radios met it, the other radio did not, and they did not say in their bid that they did not meet that. There was a place where they were supposed to say if there were any deficiencies, and they did not. I've got both radios here, and you know, the difference between them and being able to use those two radios with gloves on, I think is very significant. With just the size of the knobs, the design of the knobs, the size of the buttons. These radios are designed for firefighters, and for safety reasons, that's what the firefighters should be using, not a less rugged, less user-friendly radio. DSC never got me one of these Kenwood radios to look at, and that was also part of the RFP process, that they were to supply one for evaluation. They never gave us one. It was asked for several times, and they didn't.
Yeah, Jim. I do know that you know, there are certain things about certain radios that make sense, and it's all about safety. And I know this is your opinion on this radio because I've talked to other firefighters, and they're not necessarily sold on it. So when they get them, you know, you're going to probably have a lot of people that are going to say we don't really like them. We don't really like them. The heartbeat feature is going to be something that's going to give false readings at some point. It's going to be turned off. I've heard that people in firefighters in Chicago, they have looked at these radios, and they have quite a force, and they have quite a system, and they'll have a lot of equipment. And I've heard directly from some people there that if these things were the greatest things since sliced bread, they would have them there. And so they're not asking for those. So I don't believe that these things are the greatest thing on the planet as far as radios are concerned, and especially not when we're paying $26,000 for radios that are probably going to last 3 years, and I think I'm being generous. And so that's my opinion, and I know you have your opinion, and the firefighters have their opinion as well. A lot of different issues, and the radios are one of them. So that's my opinion, and this has been hashed around, I guess, long enough, so I guess we can call the question.
There's
no motion on the floor.
No, there's not a motion on the floor, and I think you may have actually separated the wrong item, because 6.211 was the motion to approve the radios, but that failed for lack of majority, so there's really not even a recommendation there. It's 6.22 that is approving the recommendation. for the radios? Does that make sense? Oh, he did?
Oh,
Oh, I'm
okay.
sorry, I thought he said 6.211.
Okay.
Then never mind, sorry. I'm sorry.
Heard a motion and second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Please call the roll.
Counselor Olson? No. Counselor Bridge? Yes. Counselor Bender? No. Counselor Stenberg? Yes. Counselor McDonald? Yes. Counselor Joyle? No. Counselor Finsland?
Yes.
Counselor Herrick?
Yes.
Counselor McKenzie?
No.
Counselor Brown?
No.
5-5, the motion fails.
I vote no and send it back for further study.
Item 7.1 is business by department heads. 7.1, Finance Director Vito is requesting approval of the Finance Committee's recommendation for the Animal Allies contract July 1st through 2012 through June 30th, 2013, at the budgeted cost of $120,000.
Heard a motion and second for approval. Discussion. Vice President McKenzie.
Yeah, I know that this thing has been looked at a lot, and justifiably so. It's a big move and something that we've needed to do and to upgrade everything that we had at ARF, and now it's Animal Allies. It was insufficient what they were getting compared to what they will get now. The county is going to be served by this shelter as well, so the money has to be there. It comes to $10,000 a month. And there's certain things that the city will have to do as far as maintaining anything, any issues over $500. What ARF was getting in comparison was, I think it was $3,300 a month. I think, if I did my math, it was $40,000 a year. And so just looking at all this now, I think this covers everything well. I think the next step is going to get this thing built, and with the capital campaign, if that's success, I think we're on our way. The money that we bonded is wonderful, and I need to thank the Finance Committee. I was unable to be at that meeting, but everybody at that Finance Committee, I want to thank you for looking at this and understanding what this is all about, how important it is, and the need that we have. Gene Vito has worked on this diligently. Animal Allies has worked on this, and our city attorney has been there to make sure that all the T's were crossed and all the I's were dotted. So. Really appreciate this, and I think this is a wonderful contract that we have for not just for the city. It's going to be for the county, and I'm proud of this, and I think everybody in the city will be proud of it as well.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
7.2, Planning Director Cirque is recommending to approve the WIDSTOT's request to waive the appraisal process to purchase 2 narrow strips of property adjacent to Highway 2 in the town of Amacon for $1,584.
You've heard the motion, multiple seconds. Discussion. Councilor McKenzie?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
7.3, Public Works Director Getzman is recommending to award the bid for the clay excavation project at Moccasin Mike Landfill to RJS Construction in the amount of $301,730.
For the motion and second, discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
7.4, Brad Thine, City Assessor, GIS Supervisor, is recommending to award the aerial survey contract to Pictometry International in the amount of $52,304.
For the motion in multiple seconds, President Herrick.
Yeah, just a couple questions for Brad. Brad, the first question I have is, how How often do we have to take these aerials? I mean, has things changed that much that we have to do another aerial at this point?
Well, have to is, we don't have to do anything. We can use our older oblique and ortho imaging, but that's exactly what it is. All the digitization that ESD uses for stormwater, every department in the city uses it. Yeah, there is a lot of changes that happen that are highly, highly useful. I think Todd can back that up as far as how often this product is utilized in day-to-day business in the city.
And then the next question is going to be done in two parts. I see 2013 and then 2016 is...
Exactly.
Can you
This
explain
covers two captures.
Okay.
So, and that's about the appropriate time span. 2 years is real good, 3 is okay. And that's why we got such a good deal, because we're piggybacking at the same time the county is. So the mobilization of the planes has cut our cost down.
Okay, and then the cost of the $52,000, is that our cost, or is that going to be split between us and the county?
No, the county has a very large cost, and there's over $200,000 in theirs. This is ours alone.
For both 2013 and 2016?
It's total. And it's payable over time, too, annually. So it's a real good product for us.
All right, thank you.
Councilor McKenzie. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 8.1, Mayor Hagan is appointing Joe Harrison to the Library Board for a 3-year term expiring July 2015.
Heard the motion and second to approve. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 10.1 is a resolution by Mayor Bruce Hagan declaring a state of emergency June 20th, 2012, in effect until further notice.
Heard the motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 10.2 is a resolution providing for the issuance and sale of general obligation corporate purpose bonds, Series 2012C, in the amount not to exceed $10 million.
Heard the motion and second. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 10.3 is a resolution introduced by Councilor Bender requesting the City Council support National Night Out Tuesday, August 7th, 2012.
Heard the motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I'm sorry.
And
Councilor Bender.
since usually when people make resolutions, nobody knows what they are, so I'll read this. And if this sounds similar to ones in the past, it is different. It says 2012 now. And before I read this, I spoke to Officer Bonnie Bestie today, and she was unable to be here, but I would like to thank her, and also the Superior Police Department, the Superior Fire Department, for the involvement that they've shown in the past years, too. And Bonnie told me to give out her email, but I think I won't bother, since if it is available, probably available on the city's website under the police department as far as the community officer and that. And before I read this resolution, I do have one disclaimer, and that is I got 0 phone calls about the flooding, and the reason is because Tuesday the 19th, my phone got knocked out. I believe it was probably a lightning strike. And I called right away, and I also emailed, and they said, "Oh yeah, we'll get there." And so they were supposed to have come last Tuesday, and I called when they didn't show up at the appointed time, and they said, "Oh, we're so busy, we're doing this, that, and the other thing." And it turns out that 2 of their technical employees working full-time at UWS because of the devastation that was caused there. So if anybody tried to call, and this will be in my next Bender Bulletin, if anybody did try to call, it wasn't like I was ducking your calls or anything, but it was like 10 days before my phone was fixed. I did, however, receive some emails about that. Anyway, here's the very quick reading of this resolution in support of the National Night Out. The City of Superior City Council does ordain as follows. Whereas communities across the United States have designated August 7th, 2012 as a National Night Out to celebrate community and neighborhood awareness and unity. And whereas the purpose of the National Night Out is to generate support and participate in local anti-crime efforts to strengthen neighborhood spirit and police community partnerships, to heighten crime and drug prevention awareness, and to send a message to criminals that neighborhoods are fighting back. Whereas various neighborhoods in the city of Superior held National Night Out functions on August 2nd of last year, and some of which were attended by some city councilors. Now therefore be it resolved that the Superior City Council wishes to express its support for the National Night Out and the goals and purposes behind it. Be it further resolved that the Superior City Council hereby expresses its support for the 29th Annual National Night Out on August 7th, 2012, and encourages the administration in various neighborhoods throughout the city to facilitate and participate in the event by spending a night out with their neighbors. And this year, the number of groups that are participating has really gone up. So I guess that's all that I would like to say. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 11.1 is an ordinance introduced by the Public Works Department amending the traffic code disabled parking zones by adding 1124 Oaks Avenue.
You've heard the motion and multiple seconds for approval. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second. Mayor?
We stand adjourned.
Mayor?
I'm sorry.
Just one thing. I just wanted to say that tonight my wife and son are here in the council chambers, and it just happens to be Cody's 23rd birthday today. So.
Maybe we should sing. There's a lot to be said for public embarrassment.
Councilor Brown.